Hello, hello, and happy Sunday afternoon. It is just about 3 o'clock. So we just got home from my dad's about, I don't know, half hour ago maybe. So we unloaded the car. I'm just starting to unpack everything. I know it probably seems weird that how much really did I have to pack, because we just went there yesterday morning and came back this afternoon, but you'd be surprised. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you saw my picture from this morning of the snow that was starting to come down up where they live, which is near State College, Pennsylvania. When we left, they had a good inch on the ground already. So they were supposed to get snow pretty much through this evening yet, but then it's going to turn to rain, so it should all melt tomorrow. Okay, that was my mother. So yeah, we had to take like extra warm clothes along, things like that. So I am again unpacking. They sent some food home with us. One of the things they sent home was a pan of Scrapple. So I know not everybody worldwide knows what Scrapple is. So when I go to slice it up and freeze it, I'll turn the camera back on and show you and explain to you a little bit what Scrapple is. And then Mike and I are going to make some crab cakes for dinner tonight. So I think that'll be about it. I'll bring you back when I'm slicing the Scrapple and when I start my dinner. But until then, I've got to get unpacked. So I'll be back soon. Okay, here is a pan of Scrapple. So I'm going to have Mike tell you, when he's available here shortly, how they get it to this point. But what we do when it's in the loaf pan is we're going to turn it upside down and put on the cutting board and slice it. And then we'll slice it. This is what it looks like when it's sliced. And I have just pieces of paper in between because I'm going to freeze it like this. Then we only pull out what we need to fry. So then you take these pieces and you fry them on a hot griddle or just in a hot pan. And then when you eat it, you make sure that it's fully cooked in the middle, but the outside you want nice and golden brown and crusty. And then Mike eats his with pancake syrup on it. A lot of people do different things with their Scrapple. Somebody told me once that they put peanut butter and syrup on it. But basically all it is pork meat. But again, as soon as Mike's available, I'm going to have him tell you what you do with the hog to get it to this point. Alright, all sliced up. Now time to wrap and bag. Alright, so the world's sexiest ex-butcher is going to tell you...
I'm not a butcher.
Well, you used to butcher your own pigs. Anyway, he's going to tell you how you get the hog to that point.
Scrapple. Pennsylvania Dutch call it hornmoss. Some people call it mush. But it's just cooked down pork. Gets cooked down in a large iron kettle, and it makes a broth, and you take all the pork meat out of the broth and you separate the bones and you grind that meat up, and then you put some of that meat back in the broth, and then you add cornmeal, wheat flour, spices. Some people use buckwheat flour, but we just use cornmeal and wheat flour. And then you get that mixed up, cooks for probably, I don't know, 45 minutes. And it gets pretty thick in the kettle. And then you take it, ladle it out of the kettle, and put it into aluminum foil pans.
I did show them that, what they look like.
And let it set up. And then you cook it down. I mean, everything's already cooked, but you cut it down like 1/4 inch thick. And fry it up in a frying pan and get it nice and brown. And it isn't healthy. Certainly do not want to make a regular diet of it. It is quite good. I can make a steady diet of it if I had the metabolism to burn it off, but I don't. So a couple times a month, that's about it.
All right, so there you have it, Scrapple. Next, crab cakes. All right, so I'm gonna show you how I make my crab cakes. Crab cakes have a ton of variations. This is just the way I prefer mine. So I'm starting out with a bowl. I have, I don't know, like 8 saltine crackers in here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and crush those with my hands. I'm gonna throw them all over the counter. Allow yourself a little bit of time when making crab cakes. Because what I like to do is once I get my mixture all completely mixed together and I fold the crab meat in, I like to refrigerate it for an hour. Just to kind of let everything set so that when I pack the crab cakes, they're not as sticky, they'll stick together a little better. You can use cracker crumbs if you don't want to take the time to crush your saltines. Entirely up to you. Again, there's so many recipes out there for crab cakes, it's crazy. And the type of crab meat you use is always going to alter how your crab cakes turn out. I use a mixture of jumbo lump, special, and claw. And I buy it already mixed up like that. It's distributed by a seafood distributor in Salisbury, Maryland. I find it at the Wegmans grocery stores. I have not seen it like that in any other grocery store I've been to. So it may just be one of those things where if you live on the eastern coast of the United States, it's easier to find just because it's where the crabs are coming from. But by all means, you can use whatever you want. Obviously, the bigger the hunks of crab meat, the better the crab cakes. But then, the more expensive they're gonna be. So, alright, so I got those crushed up pretty good. So now what I'm gonna add is I have about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise and about a half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Sorry about that. Don't mean to cough all over you. I'm gonna add an egg that I have beaten, a pinch of salt, some Worcestershire sauce. I usually add about a good teaspoon. You can definitely alter that. And then seafood seasoning. Again, I use Old Bay just because that's what we have here. I don't know how available Old Bay is nationwide or worldwide, but there's, I'm sure, all kinds of seafood seasonings out there. So I have a good half teaspoon of seafood seasoning in there. Again, you can alter that depending on how spicy you want it. You could also maybe put some cayenne pepper in here too to make it just a little bit spicier. So I'm going to mix all that up. And you can see it's not many ingredients. I'm not trying to cover the taste of my crab meat. I want to bite into a crab cake and taste crab. I don't want to taste all the other flavors. The other flavors should be in the background, just enhancing your crab meat. So here's what we have. Looks gross. Yes, I know. And then here is my crab meat. Again, this is a mixture of 25% jumbo lump, 25% lump, 15% special, and 35% claw. But you can most certainly use whatever you want to. And this is a whole pound. Now this will make more crab cakes than what Mike and I can eat, but I will freeze whatever we're not going to use. And then you're just going to dump that right in. And you want to gently break it up and fold it together. You don't want to take those nice, beautiful hunks of crab meat. Like here is the jumbo lump. It's like a piece of steak. It's a beautiful piece of meat. I can just eat this now. That's all I can not to. But you don't want to break those up. You want those to stay nice and big. So you need to be very gentle during this process. You're just, honestly, you're just making the crab meat wet with that mixture. So now, again, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for about an hour, just to let everything kind of set up a little bit. So I will get back to you with the next step in an hour. But I can tell you what you're going to want to have ready are some breadcrumbs and some butter. And that's it. So I'll see you in an hour. Okay, an hour has gone by, so it's time to start frying these crab cakes. So I have about 2 tablespoons of butter in my frying pan. I have that just started over medium-high heat. Here is my crab mixture. So we're just going to start forming as best you can. Again, it's not a very, it's not a lot of goop in with this crab meat, so they're going to want to fall apart. That's why we're going to use just a touch of breadcrumbs on the outside. So form a crab cake as best you can. And you're just going to lay it in the breadcrumbs and get a little bit of breadcrumb on each side. It's very difficult, as you can see, because now they're still falling apart on me. And again, that's all because we don't have a lot of filler. These are basically like just crab balls. And then we're going to plop those right in the frying pan. I should have took my jewelry off because I'm playing it all over my bowl. Alright, I'm going to continue doing this, and I won't bore you. I'll come back when I'm done. Alright, remember how I said they're going to have a tendency to fall apart? Yeah, look at that one. It's not even a crab cake anymore. So, I fried them for, I don't know, like 5 minutes on the one side, and flipped them, and now I'm frying them on the other side. This camera, I don't know, it's making this one look like it's black, and it's not. It's just a nice dark brown, but I don't know, hopefully it looks better on the video, but through the camera screen on the back, that little puppy looks like it's blackened. And Mike's going to have some peas I made myself, cucumber, tomato, and pepita salad with a little bit of Newman's Own oil and vinegar dressing. And finishing up a bag of tater tots. So that will be dinner tonight. Alright, I haven't watched any YouTube since Friday, since I left for the weekend, so I have a lot of catching up to do. So I'm going to sit here in front of my tree on YouTube with some sugar cakes and a chihuahua. And that's what I'm going to do on a Sunday night. So good night. Talk to you later.